So today is November 10th, 2020. I'll put the screenshot of my subscription in the corner. But yesterday I did several videos and I came across this article. I skip it. I try not to speak about it. Because if you have seen some of the videos that I made after the announcement of Biden winning the election, I spoke about the groups that came together to help win the presidency, to help Biden win the presidency. And when I came across this article, I try not to talk about it because I thought it was very inappropriate. And I didn't want to, because the battle is still going on, okay? When this is how many of Trump people win election is because they divide the minorities in order for them to get the votes, okay? For her to come out and say something like that, even if it was she misspoke or at the lip of the tongue it came out the wrong way or something like that, which means this is something that was in somebody's brain to actually say it, like that. I saw part, not all of it, part of the video when she was talking to Ari, what's his name, Ari something, the journalist at MSN.
Important to you, as such a supporter of Joe Biden, that his decency seemed to come through.
Oh my gosh, of course. Character matters. Who is in the room where it happens matters. There is a lot going on in the world right now, and we need to pick a leader, not a liar. And America chose that. And I being part of many campaigns, there wasn't one more important than this one. And, we've been saying how long. You've mentioned it on your show right before the break. He has a lot of people to thank for this victory, mostly people of color. The black and brown communities delivered for Biden.
She was doing great here. Everything she said was spot on, but also she forgot to mention the Native American people. So everything was going well, and I don't know what happened after that.
And, we've been saying all along that the path to the White House ran through the Latino community, and Latinos turned out in record numbers across this country in states where it really mattered. And I feel like because Florida was the first state to come in that night, the narrative took over that Latinos showed support for Trump, and that just isn't true. And it's not the narrative that needs to be out there.
Oh, now I see. Now that I listen to it again, that's the beginning of the downfall. I see.
Latinos delivered big for Biden. Latinos flipped Arizona, no question. Latinos delivered Nevada.
Keep in mind, the next clip that I'm gonna show you is gonna talk about Arizona. But Eva Longoria was talking about Nevada. That's two different states. Okay, just keep that in mind. At first, I thought she was talking about Arizona, but she's talking about Nevada. We owe a debt gratitude to Navajo Nation. Okay, so that's from my other video. Okay, a great sacrifice while battling COVID-19 at the same time. What is this? Okay. The Navajo Nation flipped Arizona. They cast 76%. You see, this is the thing I was saying. Okay, I'm going to go into it because there it is. There's the thing. Okay, that was reposted again yesterday. Okay, the Navajo Nation flipped Arizona. They cast 76%, 76,000 vote at 97% for Biden. He is currently ahead by 16,985 votes. Some of them spent 2 hours on horseback getting to the polls. And unlike never Trump Republicans, they supported down a ballot Dems and helped us with the Senate. Okay, so this is it. I spoke about this the other day on one of my videos. Okay, I think that considering when important when there are 5.1 million indigenous voters versus New Hampshire, 1.1 million speaks volume about the U.S. Check out these maps of tribes in Arizona. That's the term I was looking for. I couldn't think of it. Tribes. I put neighborhood. I said neighborhood. In Arizona and district that went blue. It's no coincidence. Okay. So I saw this map already. Okay. So they put it in. Okay. So all this corner here are, what do you call this? The tribes. Okay. There's different tribes here, different tribes, and then when I go to the next slide, you're gonna see all the white area here. Okay, all of the white area here is gonna be red. Okay, there they are. Okay, these are all the districts, and these are the tribes that voted for Trump. The blue, Biden, and the red are all how do you call this? Trump people. Okay, and this is why Trump is taking his sweet ass time for the transition team. Okay, because of these people. Okay. All right. Can someone explain why Navarro Nation doesn't have a polling location closer than to ours? This needs to be fixed. Yeah. So they had to. Ah, my goodness. We toughly can never really want to appeal to people of color because they know they'll piss off their white supremacist majority base. So that's why they make it so difficult for people of color to vote. Yeah. Okay, free and fair election will almost certainly result in enough comfortable blue states to reach at least 276 electoral college vote every election. Okay, so this I'm gonna put it with the other video that I did with what's it, Eva Longoria. Okay, so let me move.
And then we had historic victories in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan because of Latinos.
Okay, so this is where she went wrong right there. If you guys have seen some of the videos that I made, I guess during the election and slightly before the election also, and I said Pennsylvania will go for Biden, mostly because of Philadelphia. So this is where she starts differentiate and giving credit more to certain groups. If you look at also some of Pennsylvania's area, which I didn't expect at all to go for Biden, are some white voters. Okay, let's give credit where credit is due. Some white voters went against their own the party line because they didn't like the way Trump is running office. But guess what? They still voted for their. Did Pennsylvania have Senator election this year? I'm not 100% sure about it, but in the presidential election, some whites did vote for Biden. Okay, some areas within Pennsylvania that were that usually go for Republicans, they voted for Biden. And there's tons of videos that I've shown you, the Lincoln Project and was it Republicans against Trump. Some of them have made videos saying they will not be voting for Trump. Okay, so this is where she went slightly very wrong there, saying it's because of Latinas. Okay, things like that will there's some people who take this well, it is very offensive, but some people will really in the next election, because white privilege will be okay no matter where they go, but because of that, some of these voters will probably vote, against what will be what the minorities will want, even though it will benefit them as well. So when we start differentiate cherry picking and give credits to one group versus the other, this is where the problem is. So this election was a collective, okay? It was a collective effort by all groups, including whites. We could say all we want, including whites, because they don't want the country to go the direction that Trump wants to take it, and some of the Republican Party wants to take it. And I've mentioned a lot about Bo, the fifth column. He's been putting tons of videos about things like that. So yeah, let's get back to her video. And I don't think I record much after that, but I'll show you whatever I have.
So Latinos were a cornerstone to winning this election for Biden.
Well, the usual problem with the political media narrative.
What?
It's wrong and stupid.
I sort of stopped watching it because I felt like if we are pinning each other, okay, putting us against each other, that would be a very bad idea going forward. Because if you look at Georgia, there's a race that's going to go on between the Republicans and one Democrat. I believe it's January 5th. Okay, this is her. Update. We have raised $6 million so far to help jumpstart the January 5th Senate runoff election. Help keep up the momentum, okay, for Reverend Warnock and Ossoff by donating at gasenate.com. Okay, Jordan, thank you. Together, we have changed the course of our state for the better. But our work is not done. Join me in supporting, okay, that's that, so we can keep up, okay, with the fight and win the U.S. Senate. All right, let's listen to her. It's 1 minute and 17 seconds.
With us to help say hello, and thank you to the grassroots activists, the allied organizations, volunteers, and of course, all of you voters for your efforts over the years to create this new Georgia. I am so grateful for your contributions in making Georgia a pivotal battleground state. Vice President Biden now leads in the race for Georgia's 16 electoral college votes. Without your faith, this would not have been imaginable. And without your hard work, this would not have been possible. As we continue to make sure that every vote is counted and every voice is heard, our work is not done. In Georgia, we have 2 Senate runoff elections on January 5th. My friends Jon Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock are on the ballot, and control of the United States Senate will likely come down to these 2 races. That means access to health care and access to justice are still on the line. Please go to gasenate.com and join our efforts to elect Jon Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock to the United States Senate. That's gasenate.com. We have seen what's possible when we work hard and when we work together. We know we can win Georgia. Now let's get it done. Again.
I'm telling you, she works her butt off. You see, she put the thing here, work together, for Eva Longoria to sort of start cherry picking, okay, to divide the minority groups, okay, her group, okay, the Native American groups, the black voters and all of that, okay. We need to be together. If we stick together, all this nonsense we're seeing will not be happening. Okay, holy shit, yes, we should be dumping money into these 2 races. This is just as important as the presidential race, if not more. It is much more, because if McConnell remain majority leader, nothing will be done. Nothing. Vote black after vote black, because if after the election, okay, we need to know what went on. If the Senate wants to know what went on with the Trump administration, okay, the Republicans are not going to bring people to come and talk, okay, to testify, okay. They just going to sit there like nothing happened, okay, and then put vote blacks after vote blacks for Biden, okay. Make this a referendum on a $15 minimum wage, and Dems can win both seats. Slogan 51 for 15 hours. Raise the minimum wage is enormous popular. Focus specifically on that alone, and promise to make it the first thing the Senate Dem pass. That's how to win. Well, that's good. All right, so there's a lot of things going on, and it's not just about the Sussex. I'm sorry if some of you haven't seen much about the Sussexes and this channel lately. I'm still for them, okay. At one point before they call out the election, the squads were really down. They were not too happy. I was not too happy myself. So, you know, this is as important, okay. And please, because the fight is not over, and that Georgia election will determine how Biden pretty much run his, if certain things will be moving, if some bills will be moving. Because at this point right now, you see all those Republicans who won their re-election, they still with Trump, okay? They don't want Trump to give over the power, okay? You're seeing places, the attorney, even attorney general, but the GSA person who's supposed to give the password for the transition team to get going, they're not doing it, okay?
Someone who has unique insight into the GSA and the transition process is Denise Turner Roth. As head of the GSA under President Obama, it was Ms. Turner Roth who ascertained the results of the 2016 election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. She did so on November 9th, 2016. one day after the election, triggering the official start of the transition period for then-President-elect Trump. Joining us now, Denise Turner Roth. She served as the head of the General Services Administration under President Obama from 2015 until Donald Trump's inauguration in 2017. Ms. Turner Roth, thank you for being with us this evening. Suddenly your role that not many people knew about has become so important, so we need to understand it. You had the same role in 2016 of deciding when to ascertain the election results for Donald Trump. What factors back then did you rely on to make that determination to sign the paper to get the transition started?
Well, thank you for having me this evening. It's good to be with you. There were a number of advisors and our general counsel that we were able to take a look at what actually was the circumstance. And we were looking at some key aspects. What had the states called the election? What were the major networks actually reporting? And actually overnight, there was a concession as well. And so that made the direction much more clear. But we didn't have to have a concession in order to go forward.
What's the issue here? There's been a lot of focus on things like office space, but clearly the Biden administration can fiddle around and do that somewhere else. What's the main risk of a lengthy delay in ascertaining the results?
And actually, I think some of the reporting you did before I came on really pointed to it. The GSA is in the role of the actual transition of all of government, not just the GSA space, not just the email addresses, but actually accessing the leadership of agencies, having those agencies be available and responsive to the transition leadership teams, having the meetings, the policy debriefings. All of those activities will occur as a part of the new government getting ready to come in and take over. None of those steps, or many of those steps, and I think the reporting shows it, are happening at this moment because of the movement of the lack of movement of the transition. The ascertainment truly has a key part, and it goes well beyond the office space.
I think you make an important point. It's not the General Services Administration of the transition. It's the General Services Administration of the United States government. It is all the buildings. It's all the keys. It's all the passwords. It's all the computers. And it's all the access to the important information. We used to think about this in a post 9/11 world as security related, right? Is there a national security risk? But now we're in the COVID pandemic. So we actually need the incoming administration to have as much access as possible, the briefings necessary, the intelligence necessary to make the right decisions.
That's correct. And the reason the Presidential Transition Act was put into place is to allow for the smooth transition of government to occur. Prior to having that, sometimes the transitions wouldn't occur at all, or they would be haphazard. And each time that there's been refinement of the law, it's been to ensure that that transition happens as quickly, as smoothly as possible. At the end of the day, the smooth transition of government, the accurate running of our country, the efforts that move forward to ensure one president moves and another president comes into place are key at this moment. None of those activities can happen until these efforts are taken, until the ascertainment is achieved. And at the same time, there's also the importance of understanding there's a limit here. There's 77 days between the election day and the inauguration day, and the clock is ticking.
So for her to come out and start dividing people like that, it's not right. Okay? And if you look at Florida, I don't know the percentage of who vote for Biden or Trump, but Florida went to Trump. Okay? So all of those accusation that the Trump people are putting, saying that there was foul play or they cheated and all of that. So how come he didn't say something about Florida? Okay, so right now the Trump administration is halting, is making the process very slow, and to prevent Biden from, moving forward. Okay, so they're slowing things down. So that way, by the time, the next election comes, they're going to make their plan to do what they need to do to win back the thing again. So, and, let me read part of this, okay? I'll put the link of this in the description. Eva Longoria react to backlash after calling Latinos real heroines of election. Okay? And Sunday night tweet, Okay, Longoria clarified her word. Black women have long been the backbone of the Democratic Party. Okay, actress activist Eva Longoria has apologized this morning after making a remark that discounted what many have determined is one of the most important aspects of the 2020 presidential election. Quote, the women of color showed up in a big way. Of course, you saw in Georgia what black women have done, but Latina women were the real heroine here, beating men in turnout in every state and voting for Biden-Harris at the average rate close to 3-1, close quote. Okay, so Longoria said in a post-election interview in MSNBC. Okay, so her comment were instantly construed as anti-blackness. Okay, so I mean, you guys could search and, you know, like I said, I'll put this in the description, but whatever the thing is, and you know, I even spoke about the area where a lot of Native American live, and their where they live within the state, and I forgot the term they use for their neighborhood or something like that. How they were voting for Democrats, and all around them, okay, spaces that were not part of their community all voted for Trump. So this is why I sort of mention all of these groups on some of my videos, is not to give one credit for one and alienate the other, but you know, it was wrong for her to start this like that, because there is so much more to be done. Because when I voted, I've said this, and some of the videos that I've put, I voted for my kids. I voted for those children who were put in cage. Okay, so you know, she is completely wrong. I was trying to avoid talking about it, but it's completely wrong of her to do that. All right, so I'm gonna go to the next video. There's so much more. There's other videos where I comment on. I can even find let's see, history. If I find some of the comment that I put on, how do you call this? Okay, I think it was him. I commented. I commented on his thing. Okay, perfect. I see it. Okay, so one of the thing I put on this guy, Mored Morali. Okay, I don't watch him regularly, but occasionally I do. Okay, so this is what I wrote. All I got to say is what happened to Florida. Okay, Florida is full of Hispanics. I don't know the number or percentage of groups who voted for Trump, but Florida has a lot of Hispanics. Florida voted for Trump. This is the thing. The disenfranchised got together to get the evil out, and this one came out of nowhere to claim victory. Where there is no victory here. As a black woman, when I went to vote, okay, which I just said before, my thoughts were not only on my children, I guess of my children, but those children who Trump put in cages. I was thinking about them as I cast my vote. I couldn't do anything for those children when they were in the cages. I made sure my only chance to help them, myself, and society with that one voice, one chance, was to cast it against Trump. Since the internet is on her case right now, okay, I'm not going to add to her misery. I saw an article, that's the article I just read here. I was trying to avoid it, but it keeps coming in my mind. Okay, I saw an article about her, about this topic. I chose to ignore it because it was not positive, meaning that what was in my mind was not positive of what I wanted to say about her. So yeah, so that's that. Okay, I'm gonna leave this as that, and let me go to Twitter, see what's going on.